really phenomenal looking, and listen to the way this guy sings. And it was interesting to me because of the way Morten sang, and I thought the song was different. You know, the song is a tough song. It wasn't easy to make that song a hit.
And what had happened is Jeff Aroff had gone into an American vice president's meeting, and they said, "What's happening in England, Jeff? How's Chrissie Hynde doing? How's this? And what about Johnny Rotten? And what about Boy George? What's happening with Boy George?" You know, forget it. He said, "This is what we're doing. This is going to be unbelievable." And he put on the same music. This is how the record business works. The same tunes that I played in New York. He put the same stuff on, and they all went, "Great, wonderful," because he was the hot potato.
I had done a lot of work for Warner Brothers, and I had a lot of, what you might say, power. I could do what I wanted to at a certain point, because people trusted that I would come up with something interesting, because I had a group of people with me, or surrounding me, working with me, that were doing good work.
De sier glem Europa. De sier til det engelske selskapet, ikke gjør noe mer. Vi vil ikke at dere gjør noen ting med det bandet. Vi skal breake det bandet her, og ingen andre får lov til å gi ut den plata nå.
Because I grew up listening to Roy Orbison, who has a range just like Morten's. And Roy Orbison always had this kind of operatic rock and roll reputation. You know, that's what they used to say about Roy Orbison. So in the back of my mind, when I heard Morten sing, I thought, well, this isn't like normal rock and roll. This isn't like normal pop music. This is something else. And so I wanted to, and he obviously didn't look like a normal person. He looked like a really like Elvis was unusually handsome. He was unusually handsome. So I took those two elements and kind of went, okay, what do I do with this? And then it was just sort of like, let him come out of a cartoon.
Jeff asked me to do some drawings for him because he wanted to make sure I could draw faces, and that when I drew the face, it was going to look like Morten, and it was going to look like Paul and Mags. Once they had confidence in the fact that they liked the way the guys looked, and I think Jeff was always very much into doing something new, you know, so the whole thing fit. And after that, he never asked any questions.
Animation in music videos is usually prohibitive because of time and money. We never have enough money, and we certainly never have enough time. We never have months to do it. You want it in 2 weeks' time. You want it next week. Or so I said, if you gave us, £100,000 and went away for 3 months and 4 months and left us to do it, then we could do animation. And he was. He said, well, that's what we'll do. I'll make sure we do that. I met the guys. They came over from Norway, and we sat down and I talked about the whole concept. And actually, I remember meeting them because they were put in some tiny little hostel. Even though they had this massive amount of money being spent on them for this video, they still were, 3 of them sleeping in the same room in little kind of camp beds in a hostel. And I remember thinking, I think I even said to Morten at the time, I said, one day you'll look back at this and you'll think, we were in that little place, like kind of camping out, talking about big ideas, and if they all work out, then you'll never be in a place like that again.
I London hadde A-ha fått overtalt Warner til å få spille inn Take On Me på nytt fra grunnen av. Og Alan Tarney kommer inn som ny produsent.
Jeg husker jeg gikk inn på kontoret til Andrew Wickham med Take On Me-teipen når den var ferdig, og så sa jeg sånn skal det høres ut.
Filmopptakene ble gjort på 2 dager I London, tidlig på våren 1985.
We cast the girl Bunty. I looked through a number of girls to be the right sort of girl next door, dancer if possible, somebody who had good movement and a good spirit, and would be a good match with Morten. And we got her in, and I showed Morten pictures, and he said, "Oh, that's fine, that's good." And we went to film, and they had a few scenes together in the film, and even when he leads her through the portal down into the world of the comic, Morten is taking Bunty through by the hand, and he was quite shy to, even to pull her hand and everything, and there was obviously something going on between them. And we did, after about 5 or 6 takes, we would start them I'd say cut, and we'd start at the beginning. And I noticed after take 5 or 6 that their hands didn't part. They stayed together, and they'd walk back to their first mark holding hands as well. It was so sweet, it was so cute, it was so innocent. But it started there. They had a relationship that went on for quite some time. It was his first real relationship with a girl.
Steve Barron sa til meg, Morten, jeg må ha et ord med deg. Det ikke, du kommer til å skyte flere videoer, sånn at det må ikke... Jeg vil bare ha nevnt det.
Så tar etterarbeidet med den banebrytende videoen 4 måneder. For dette var lenge før datagrafikkens tid, så alt måtte gjøres manuelt. Jeff Aroff lot MTV få snikkikke mens sluttarbeidet pågikk.
I took her with me to go look at Michael doing the animation because for all of us this was just kind of a goof. We didn't know what we were doing half the time. Much of it was theoretical. And so for the executives at MTV, I liked them to see the back room work. And especially this one because it was a guy in a room drawing thousands of pictures just to make a video. I wanted to show them how hard we were working to do this cool little video for this band from Norway. And I took her in there and it was like she'd never seen anything like it.
Mens Warner forbereder lanseringen av Take On Me, oppholder a-ha seg stort sett I Norge.
Record company, people said, well, if you've got an artist, and especially if they're good looking, you just show them. That's all you do. You show them, and that's all you need to do. Don't put anything else in. And Jeff had the opposite idea. He said, you know what, you save them up. You hold them back. If they are great, you hold them back and then you give a little teaser of them, and then people will want more. And he was absolutely right about that.
De ble interessert I å gjøre det fra Norge, for det var eksklusivt. Det var så annerledes og spesielt at de ville gjøre det her. Så det kom jo team over fra statene hit for å... Vi var ute på Bygdøy blant annet, I den aller mest potente allergitiden. Så vi var jo helt sylta, altså. Magne og jeg, og Paul også. Alle 3 egentlig.
Det eneste vi hadde gjort var stått på Folkemuseet I Oslo og gjort sånn radio-IDs til 500 radiostasjoner der borte, ikke sant? Så du hadde veldig liten kontakt med hva som egentlig skjedde.
Og så begynner Take On Me å klatre på Billboard-lista I juli 1985.
Vi ser liksom uke etter uke gå 2 plater, 1 plass, 2 plasser, 3 plasser, helt sånn fra 98, ikke sant? Så det
Så hoppet han liksom noen plasser frem, og så hoppet han 1 plass frem, og så hoppet han 10 plasser frem, og så ble han stående stille, og så var veldig mye sånn nerver forbundet med at liksom, når stopper han?
Hele sommeren går a-ha I Oslo og venter, mens Take On Me klatrer sakte oppover Billboards singliste.
Så du hadde veldig liten kontakt med hva som egentlig skjedde, det var bare et blad du kjøpte en gang I uka. Så, ja.
Men så fyrer Warner av det siste trinnet I markedsføringsstrategien. 30. august setter a-ha seg på fly til Los Angeles for å være med på å gi Take On Me det siste pushet oppover lista.
Hadde vi visst det nå, liksom, hvor lett det å få en dip og lose your bullet og that's it, liksom, så hadde vi sikkert hatt nervesammenbrudd.
I hele september det TV-opptredener, radiointervjuer og fotosessioner I USA fra morgen til kveld. En dag I oktober de tilbake I London. Trøtte og slitne de samlet I en liten leilighet, og journalist Tor Markussen fra Aftenposten var der den kvelden.
Så ringer telefonen, og Magne sier, hva faen det nå? Tar telefonen, og så blir det dødsstille I rommet. Og du hører en overnaturlig høy skurrelyd I TV-en som bare bråker. Og så Magne helt stille, og plutselig han rett I taket og skriker, vi nummer 1 I USA. Og gutta eksploderer og bølger og skriker, og det latter, og det tårer, og det skrik, og de tror. Og så smeller døra av veggen, og Morten løper ut, hva det sier? Vi nummer 1 I USA, de har fått beskjed nå fra oss, USA, det stemmer, vi nummer 1 I USA.
Drømmen til 2 unge gutter fra Manglerud som de har hatt siden tidlig på 70-tallet har gått I oppfyllelse. Sammen med Morten har de klart det umulige. Take On Me toppet singlisten I 9 land, og sammen med LP'en Hunting High and Low solgte den mer enn 7 millioner eksemplarer, og videoen vant utallige priser verden over. I dag Take On Me og videoen regnet som et av 80-tallets største popikoner.
Du jo glad I den. Eller du, jeg da. Jeg får svare for meg selv. Men den har jo levd sitt eget liv. Den ikke vår lenger I den forstand. Vi jo knyttet til den og assosiert med den, men det blir kort og godt allemannseie.